Hello and welcome back to our favorite segment here on the Revenge of the Average Joe's podcast. We're going to get into Investing 101. Tell your wife you're getting into investing, not sports gambling. That's what we're teaching today. Really want to highlight, we've gone over some different ways to become a better sports gambler over the past, 22 weeks, Kyle. We've talked about the psychology of sports gambling, some basic tips, and now I want to get into how investing is similar to sports gambling. So let's get on to the next slide here, Dano, if you don't mind jumping in. Today we're going to talk about why a 20-unit loss is significantly worse than 21-unit losses. This is investing basics, guys. We want to talk about your risk tolerance and why it's so important to have unit bets because it is so hard to dig yourself out of a hole. Jump over to the next one, would you mind, Dano? So here's just a really basic overview here. If you start out with $100 and you lose 5%, let's say your units are $5, you're down to 95, right? So you need to make one bet and you get back $5 at one unit. Oh, now you're at 94.50. So it's not an even percentage. You lose 5%, Kyle. You don't need to win 5% to get it back. You got to get back about 5.5% of a win to make even. Now, you might think, oh, if I lose 2 units, I just need like 10.5%. But actually, it's really more of an algorithm. So if you lose 95% on your bankroll, you get drunk, you have a YOLO night, you actually need to win 1,900% on your bets to get back to even. I just want you to visualize this real quick. Let's go forward here and take a look at what that looks like. So 10% unit loss, you need to make 11% to get it back. Now look at a 90% unit loss. You have to get back 900% to get back to even, not even to a profit. That's why we can't do huge unit bets. That's why you're not doing money line bets where you're betting $500 to win 100. You miss one bet on those, and it's going to take you months to get it back. Let's jump to the next slide here, Kyle, and I'll show you why. So let's say you're drunk one night, you got a $100 bankroll, you put 95 on the Nuggets to beat the Chicago Bulls. You think, man, we're going to nail this. You have $5 left on your bankroll. You need to make 1,900% up or a 1,900 bet. You're not going to do that on a parlay. You're not going to put a 10-game parlay down on one game. You're not going to win that ever. So let's say you're doing one-unit bets to get it back. If you're getting back 66% of your bets correct, which is amazing in Vegas, it would take you 57 bets hitting at 66% to get back to even. For me, I'm betting about 5-6 times a month. That's 6 months wiped out in one single night of betting. Don't do huge bets as a new gambler. Just stick to units. Jump to the next slide here, Kyle. We'll break this down for you. You dig a huge hole on a sure thing, it's going to cost you in the long run. I promise you that. We don't talk about that investing enough. You talk about risk tolerance, right? You wouldn't just have one stock. You're going to diversify your interest. You're going to have 10 or 15 stocks. If Elon Musk dies, Tesla's going to tank. That's why you don't have all your money in Tesla. You're not YOLOing, as they like to talk about on Wall Street Bets. Great site, by the way. Next slide. Very simply put, diversify your interests, have unit bets, bet on a lot of different teams. It's very important for you to do that. 1 or 2 unit losses you can overcome. 20 units losses, right? You're not going to lose every single bet if you're doing 20 bets in a row. You're going to win maybe 10 of them, right? 50% a monkey could do that. I don't know. What do you think?
Astounding information as usual, Matt. Just making it clear out there to diversify your sports betting portfolio. Don't just ride one team. If they're on a hot streak, hey, Vegas knows they're on a hot streak, right? They're going to start raising those lines. They're going to start getting it where you're not getting the same value you were. As much as we love betting against Carson Wentz and will continue to do so next season, we can't just bet against Carson Wentz, right? We'll bet against Bill O'Brien if he gets another coaching job, be it in high school, college, whatever. I'd love to bet against him. I love betting for the Nuggets after they've played a terrible first half. I love betting against the Nuggets when they've had a great first half. These are just some examples of some things that you can do as a sports gambler to help diversify your portfolio. Thank you so much, Matt. What a great Dietz teach.
You know, I also want to point out here, this is where Vegas makes their money. They look to you to make psychological mistakes. They look to you to lose 2 or 3 bets in a row, and they capitalize when you're saying, I'm getting it all back. I have a great feeling about the Denver Nuggets versus the Washington Wizards. I'm going to hammer this spread. I'm going to hammer this money line. Then something happens, right? Nuggets are going to win that game 80% of the time, but the 20% chance that they lose it, Vegas collects on that, and then you're in a hole. You're thinking, I need to get it all back. You're chasing your loss. Those terms exist for a reason, Kyle. They're out there. they get their money. Hey, I want to send a special shout out to Matt Sharkey. If you're not swimming with the sharks, as they say, using Sharkey Financial Services, you're not making money. He's a fantastic tool for us. He's a certified financial planner, and he has helped me learn some of these tools and applied them to sports gambling. I feel significantly better because of it. Check him out.
That's it.
That's Dietz. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you next week.